welcome back to class. I'm super excited. We're back in the kitchen, and this is actually my favorite room in my home. So I'm really, really happy to have you back in class today here in the kitchen. Welcome to the second half of class. The first half of class has been heavy lecture and foundational information, and I'm really proud of you for sticking through and listening to all of the information and downloading the data. Re-listen to those classes if you need to so that you can really absorb what I'm talking about, because this second half of the class is going to use most of that foundational information and it's going to make sense. So we are in the kitchen. Welcome. We are going to dig into the first daily habit, and it really is the most important daily habit. It's what we eat every single day, guys. There is nothing more foundational, actually. Even all that information I just talked about, the foundations, there's nothing more foundational than what you put into your body every single day. And that's why we started out with the world famous rainbow salad, remember? We made that to start the entire class off, because this is the core of my healthy living and of aligning with astrology and herbalism for everyday life. The foundation of it begins with what we do every single day and what we eat every day. And for us in our family, it starts with a rainbow salad. So a lot of folks ask me, well, how do you eat the rainbow salad? And you know, sometimes we just use a regular dressing. Actually, my most favorite dressing with a rainbow salad is a couple of limes, equal part actually, lime juice, olive oil, a raw olive oil, with a little bit of sea salt. That's my favorite dressing to use on a rainbow salad. It's super light, super simple. But we actually don't eat rainbow salads as a salad very often in our lives. We actually eat rainbow salads with all of our meals, in every single meal, every single day, just about. Minus some breakfast. Some breakfasts we don't have a rainbow salad actually on the plate. But I'm actually going to show you today, we're going to start today by making a breakfast meal. We're going to make mushrooms and rice, and this is a 100% plant-based breakfast option that you can eat, that your children can eat, that has the rainbow salad in it. So we're going to spend some time today in the kitchen. Actually, there's a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total recipes in this part of the class, and cooking daily using astrology and herbalism in our daily life. We're going to go through 9 different recipes. There will be a different class and a different video for each recipe. So for today, or for this first class, we're all about breakfast, making sauteed mushrooms with rice and a rainbow salad. So what I want to do first with you is show you how I make rice. A lot of folks actually use rice cookers, and I didn't even know that rice cookers were a thing and that you could just throw your rice in and it was super simple to make rice. I've never used a rice cooker. I've always made my rice on the stovetop. And so I wanted to show you guys here really quick that it's so easy to make rice on a stovetop. You put the amount of rice in that you need, and then you put the water covering the rice to where the first part of your knuckle right here is covered in water. So I'm gonna dip my finger into the rice, let my finger touch the top of the rice, and I'm looking for my first knuckle to be covered. So it looks like I need a little bit more water. Give me one moment. These are grains, right? So they actually have started to absorb the water already. So let me go ahead and put my finger, top of my finger touching the rice. And what I'm looking for is for my first knuckle to be covered in, or for my first knuckle to be submerged in water. And that's how I know I have enough water. So that's it. You turn this on high, bring it to a boil, drop it down to low, to like a number 1, and let it cook until it's done. All right, guys, so while the rice is boiling, it takes usually about 20 minutes to cook on the stove top with rice. I'm bringing that to a high, gonna turn that down to 1 and let that boil. So while that is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and make an avocado sauce. So we're going to serve our rainbow salad with, this is basmati rice, I love basmati rice, with sauteed mushrooms and an avocado sauce to drizzle on top. Because sauces are bosses, and we will talk about multiple sauces. I think, how many sauces are we making today? We are making 4 different sauces actually in today's, or in the cooking classes, in the cooking section. We're making 4 different sauces. Because sauces are bosses, I know that if I have a picky eater, maybe someone who doesn't really like rainbow salad as much, or someone who doesn't like to have all the vegetables, if I pour a delicious sauce over that rainbow salad or over any of that plate, it's gonna get eaten. Sauces are bosses, and I highly recommend you finding 4 to 5 regular sauces that you use and make in your home. Try them out on different dishes. We're actually gonna use these sauces on multiple different dishes throughout this cooking session or section. So first one we're gonna make is an avocado cilantro sauce. Delicious, one of my faves. I'm gonna take about a half of a head of fresh cilantro. And I'm gonna be using my Vitamix, guys. I don't know, if you don't have a Vitamix yet today, you wanna get one. The Vitamix is a high-powered blender. It is a pretty good investment. They used to go upwards around $500, but nowadays Vitamix is such a powerful blender and is being used by everyone all over the world that they're actually available now in Target for like $300, and I have found them on OfferUp for friends for like $100, $150, almost a brand new Vitamix that nobody ever really used or found the value in it. It looks like it's just a regular blender. I'll show you guys the blender bottom over here as well. It looks like it's a regular blender, but it's not. If you have used blenders to make smoothies or sauces before, this will absolutely change your life. There is nothing other than the BlendTec. The BlendTec and the Vitamix are pretty similar. There is nothing on the market that gets your juices or your sauces as smooth and as well blended as a Vitamix does. So we're gonna be using the Vitamix to make our sauce today. Now with the Vitamix, you do actually wanna make sure that you put your liquids in first. And the reasoning for that is because of the high-powered nature of the blender, you actually want to make sure that it has liquid to start the blending process on the bottom. A lot of other blenders, you don't have to put liquid in first, but when it comes to the Vitamix, you do. All right, what I'm doing right here is actually rolling, putting a little pressure and rolling my citrus. Citrus is, you know, sometimes the skins are a little bit, sometimes the skins are a little bit tough. And if you roll it with your palm like this, it actually loosens up the fruit inside and the juice and makes it easier to juice them. These little bitty limes that I keep dropping are called key limes, and we use key limes in our house because key limes actually have the seeds in them. And I'm pretty sure you've never found a naturally growing fruit that is based in its highest vibration that doesn't have fruit or that doesn't have a seed in it. Fruit equals seed. And so we use key limes because they are alkaline, because they actually have the seeds in them. This is a more pure genetic plant is what I would say. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these key limes down, add the juice of 3 of them into my Vitamix. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, the cilantro, some avocado, and we are going to have a really yummy avocado sauce. Now, in my kitchen, pretty much everything I do in the kitchen is by sight and by taste. I want to recommend to you, especially with sauces, but anything you're cooking in the kitchen, taste it as you go along. The only way that you can be inspired to create the food in your kitchen that tastes how you want it to be is if you're tasting it actually yourself. There's no one recipe or one way to make anything or to do anything in the world. And so when it comes to food, make sure that you're tasting it as you're building the flavor profile so that you can figure out what it tastes like with less of something or what it tastes like with more of something. It builds your palate and your own culinary mentality of how to build flavors. So I really, really recommend that. And so on top of that, I don't use any recipes. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I go online and I find recipes all the time to use to support myself. But when I'm in the kitchen and I'm starting to get down and cooking, I don't use recipes. I know that that's not always easy for everyone to maneuver. And so I will be including all of the recipes, all of the step-by-steps for you here in class. You will be able to find the full recipe. But what I'm gonna do here is just wing it and taste as I go along and show you how I cook, but I'll provide the full step-by-steps after that. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the juice of these limes into the Vitamix. As you can see, these limes have little bitty seeds here. Pretty cool. You will not find a regular lime with those seeds in the key lime. Meyer lemons as well. We're gonna actually talk about Meyer lemons too, but when we're looking for fruit, we wanna make sure we have fruit that has the seeds in it. That's generally a non-genetically modified organism or fruit or plant, and it's growing more like its parent, you know, like the original lime tree. Key limes are more in alignment with that. Oftentimes, so something really cool that you can do with your citrus rinds, this is medicine, guys. The citrus rind is stacked full of essential oils that are highly protective for the plant itself, for the seeds, right? We talked about that in our rainbow salad class. So all of the essential oils that protect the citrus plant and the seeds in this fruit are found in the actual peel. So citrus fruit or citrus peels are medicine. And so what we can do is actually take these citrus peels, and we'll do this today before or in one of our classes once I get done with using all these citrus. We'll make some quick medicine with these as well, or even like a cleaning product. So we'll come back to the citrus peels. What I want to say is, as you are using your produce, don't be so quick to throw the bits and the rinds and the peels away. Not only do your citrus peels have medicine in them, but all these little bits and pieces of different plant ends, this is the celery butts that I cut off of the celery that just aren't as pretty, that we want to usually throw away or compost. I'm going to show you something to do with all of these little bits and pieces. So don't be so quick to throw your scraps, your kitchen scraps away. All of these plants have healing potential in them, and healing energy in them are extremely important. All right, so I'm going to use some apple cider vinegar in this guy as well. We only use raw apple cider vinegar. The raw apple cider vinegar includes or has the mother in it. And actually you see it right down here. It says with the mother. The mother is the bacterial, the organism that actually makes fermented foods, that actually makes apple cider vinegar. If you've ever had kombucha, it is made actually from this organism that is called a SCOBY. And in apple cider vinegar, it's something very similar. Let me actually show you something. All right, guys, so we're gonna get into making plant medicine in our class. We're actually gonna make a recipe even in our cooking section. But this is apple cider vinegar with olive leaves. I actually have these olive leaves being extracted into this apple cider vinegar to make olive leaf extract, a very, very potent immunity booster and all around healer. But if you see this thing here on the top, this is the SCOBY. It is a living organism that converts the sugars and other different other chemicals in the vinegar into a food for the vinegar. This is actually what is eating away the apples, because apple cider vinegar is obviously made from rotting apples, right? The SCOBY is an organism that grows in the ferment and eats the sugars of the apples and creates the balanced environment that fermented foods actually are. And so getting raw apple cider vinegar that has the mother included in it is going to even be a more pure, more potent product. This SCOBY actually is food and is medicine. Chickens love to eat it. You can give it even to your dogs and other animals. It is living and it is full of nutrients and many different probiotics and so many things that are good for you. So we'll talk more about making plant medicine soon. But I wanted to show you guys what a SCOBY actually looked like because that is what this raw vinegar has in it. So I'm gonna add about a cup, half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of vinegar in here. And I'm going to go ahead and put my I don't have to even chop it up in the Vitamix, half of a head or a bunch of fresh cilantro. And then I'm going to take an entire avocado. Add that in. If you have friends or family that don't actually like avocados, this is a really good way to get them to actually eat it. Of course, we know avocados are full of healthy fats that are good for brain development, especially in our children. Avocados are actually, the fats in avocados are most relatable to mother's breast milk. So avocado is a really great first food for a baby. My children loved them when they were young, but as they got older, they found themselves not enjoying avocados as much. So this sauce is one of the ways that I get my children to eat avocados, because they love the sauce. They love how it comes together. All right, I wanna get a little bowl for my citrus, because we're gonna make some citrus medicine later. All right, so I have my cilantro, I have some lime juice, I have apple cider vinegar, I have my avocado. I'm gonna put just a little bit of fresh raw onion in there as well because that's always delicious, plus some garlic. Let me check on the rice. All right, rice is looking great. Like I said, it takes about 20 minutes for that to cook, and it'll be ready just in time for us here. Whoops. I'm gonna keep my garlic peels even. We're gonna talk about this, but I'm even keeping these peels of the garlic. Remember that this plant is a plant that grows under the ground. Garlic is a root plant. And so because it is a root plant, imagine what it's like being stuck under the ground your whole life. Might be fun if you like underground type stuff, but there's a lot of life and pathogens that exist underneath the earth. And you have to have an outer layer to protect yourself. So this outer skin of the garlic, although it looks really thin and almost insignificant, it is. It has protective power in it. It was actually able to protect this plant in the earth. And we don't want to necessarily throw it away. We want to be able to capture the nutrients that are stored in this skin. All right, I've got my garlic, I've got onion. I've definitely got to put a little bit of salt. And I always eye my salt. A message on salt. So this is going to be something that goes through the entire course, but I'm going to talk to you guys about it now. We use pink Himalayan sea salt. I want to highly, highly recommend that you get rid of your white salt in your home, primarily because we don't really know where this salt comes from. Most of the white salt that I have tested that I found on the market, especially salt that you're going to find at your standard grocery store, if you're at a really high quality grocery store and they have white sea salt there, it's probably going to be just salt. But in a lot of these standard salts on our markets, it's not just salt in that container. I don't know exactly what else is in the container. I think it might be I don't really even know. I don't want to make claims without knowing, but I know that it's not just salt, or it isn't as potent of salt as the pink Himalayan and the other colored salts, because I've used it for medicine and tested it on my body. And those salts, especially the salts in like the big blue cylinder tubes, are just, they do not work the same. So I recommend people to stay away from white sea salt and find either red or pink or even black sea salt. The coloring, obviously, it's a part of the rainbow salad life, right? We know that the coloring is going to be adding additional benefits to us, and we know that it's salt, more than likely. But I would say in a general sense, these are the types of things that we want to pay attention to because you never really know. And the way that I tested it, I know if you guys have ever had like a sore in your mouth, you put salt on it, it'll decrease, it'll actually absorb the liquid and decrease the cut or the blister. That's what I did with different salts. And this one is the one that we enjoy the most, that works the best. All right, I've got a little bit of salt. Anything else that I want to put into this? I'm going to put a little bit of pawpaws pepper in this guy as well. This is a dried seasoning blend from a local business here in Phoenix, Arizona called KDS Homestead. They create pawpaws pepper, and this is actually a fire cider. This is a blend of a bunch of different hot plants that we actually would make fire cider out of, that has ginger, garlic, onions, different peppers. She actually took the plants after she made her fire cider, which is a plant medicine, something we're also going to talk about in class, and then dehydrated all the plants and ground them up into the seasoning blend. I absolutely love it. I use it on everything. It's a little bit spicy, but it also has turmeric and ginger and all of the good things that we want to be adding into our food. And that's kind of how we look at living in alignment with plants in our home, is let's find as many possible ways in our daily life where we can use herbs, where we can use plants, and even where we can use our awareness of the sky and of the astrological patterns and cycles to live in alignment every single day. It's all about getting as many in as you can a day. And then that makes you, or that gives you space where you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get everything every time, because in your full life and the overall daily life, which every day adds up to what your whole life is, you're focused on using as many plants as possible. So this is one of those ways we can get more in. All right, and I'm gonna have to add a little bit of water into this. And I might have to add a little bit more too, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on the Vitamix, guys. The Vitamix is loud, so give me a moment. All right, I'm gonna do a taste test. It's like my favorite part of being in this kitchen. Give my camera guy a taste too. All right, so this is our avocado sauce, and alone it's pretty potent. There's a really strong flavor to it, but spread over the rainbow salad and the mushrooms and the rice, it is going to literally make one of the best, most delicious sauces that you've ever had, or plates that you've ever had. This type of an avocado sauce, like I said, children will love it because of the complexity of the flavors. And you pour it over a rainbow salad with some chips or some cheese sauce, all the things we're gonna make, they will just eat it right up. So we have our avocado sauce done. Let me go ahead and get this into a bowl. All right, then starts onion. Oh, this is one of my favorite sauces. And so simple to make, right? I mean, that took me literally like 30 seconds to blend it in the blender. Maybe total, this is like maybe a 5-minute sauce. And look at the color on that as well. All right, every little bit of it. All right, guys, so we have our avocado sauce done. All right, next we are gonna go ahead and get some mushrooms sauteed up, because I like to serve mushrooms in the morning or for breakfast. If we're keeping it 100% plant-based, which I do want to go ahead and let you guys know, I am not vegan and I am not 100% plant-based, and my home is not 100% plant-based. What I'm bringing to you today, or for the cooking section, is 100% plant-based recipes, because it gives you ways, different ideas, and ways you can eat just plants. But personally, I actually do think that having some animal products in your diet is really healthy, especially high quality grass-fed meats, eggs, and also some raw dairy in your body as well. So I'm not a proponent, or I don't promote veganism, but what we are doing today in our cooking section is 100% plant-based. So we do actually eat eggs. So this meal, this breakfast meal, would sometimes be swapped out. The mushrooms would be swapped out for eggs. Sometimes our children want to just do beans and rice for breakfast as well. So it isn't always mushrooms, but I do love to use mushrooms in this meal. Mushrooms are a super food. They are high level, full of all of the vitamins and minerals, B vitamins, everything that your body needs in order to grow and develop. Mushrooms have in them. We'll talk more about mushrooms and the real magic energy of mushrooms and how they interconnect our entire world. You might have seen the mushroom documentary also on Netflix. There's one that's been out recently, so you probably know if you've seen that. But not only do mushrooms have the minerals that we need to grow a healthy body, mushrooms also have something called beta-glucan in them. And beta-glucan, not gluten, glucan. Beta-glucan is a foreign substance to our body. So when we eat mushrooms, or when we intake mushroom tinctures, we're intaking a foreign object. This is not something that our body actually recognizes. And so it keeps our immune system on alert. So having mushrooms in your regular diet, especially for your children, is going to not only feed them healthy, nourishing plant foods, but also support their immune system and keep their immune system active. I like to tell my children what the beta glucan is like, is it kind of creates like a police force in your body. And you have the police always monitoring and checking your body because it's been activated because there is a foreign object. The foreign object is not poisonous though, so it's not a virus and it's not going to hurt you. But it will keep your immune system active and keep you healthier. These are chanterelles mushrooms. We are in the desert, and so the mushroom population is a little bit scant down here. If you're in northern parts, you probably have access to some amazing mushrooms. And I really want to recommend, don't just try the portobellos and the creminis. Branch out. The portobellos and the creminis honestly are like the least best mushrooms that exist. The kind of mushrooms that we really want to do are the wild caught mushrooms that grow out in the forests, like chanterelles and lion manes and chicken of the forest or chicken of the woods. These mushrooms are delicious. They are an amazing meat alternative. Super full of the good things that mushrooms need because they grew naturally in their own environment. And they taste really different actually than like the portobellos. All right, I am gonna go ahead and also cut up some white onion here. I have a sweet white onion, or yellow onion actually. You could use any kind of onion that you want. And you don't have to use onions if you don't like them, but I do start all of my cooking just about on the stove with onion, garlic, hello fly, and a little bit of olive oil or butter or some different oil. Well, actually, you know, we're gonna use butter today because I actually prefer to use butter in my cooking. So we're gonna have one non-plant-based ingredient today, and that's gonna be butter. Because I actually wanna talk to you guys about the importance of good quality plant food or of good quality animal food. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my onions and get them sauteing onto the stove. All right, and after I just told you we weren't gonna use any animal products, just one, okay? Because it's actually more stable to cook your aromatics, your garlic and your onion and even your ginger, turmeric in a high quality oil like a raw or grass-fed butter. And so this is a brand called Kerrygold. It's pure Irish butter, but the milk made in this butter is from grass-fed cows. Now, if you can find raw butter, that's the most ideal. But if not, you want to make sure that you find something that is grass-fed because, as you know, cows do not actually eat corn or rice or grains at all. Cows actually eat grass. They're ruminants and they are made to process grass. And so if you can see, the color on this butter is a little bit more orange, has a deeper color. Chickens that also have been free ranged and are eating their natural diet are also gonna have a darker, richer orange yolk color. That's how you know that the animal itself was being well fed and cared for and had its appropriate diet. So we like to use just grass-fed butter, and this is our favorite butter here, this Kerrygold. It's so soft and flavored well, and we're gonna go ahead and put this onto the stove. And let that heat up, let those onions saute. Then I'm gonna dump these mushrooms into the onions, let those saute up a little bit, and then we're gonna make our bowl. Whoops. All right, so I don't want to throw away my kitchen scraps, right? As my mushrooms are sauteing up, I just dropped this little piece of mushroom here on the ground, and I don't want to throw it away. Although this has now been on the ground, I think we were within the 3-second rule. This little piece of plant actually has a lot of nutrition in it, as well as all of the scraps of my rainbow salad, as well as all of my food prep. All of this food, this purple here in this cabbage, there are minerals in there. Even these avocado peels, there are minerals in here. And if I had to throw these away, I would be throwing out all of the minerals of these plants just because they don't look as good, or it's the peel or the stalk, you know, of kale, or even something that dropped on the ground. A lot of folks would just throw it away. If you have a compost bin, it's great to be able to add it into the compost and take advantage of the minerals in your compost. But if you don't have a compost bin, or even before you go to the compost bin, keep all your kitchen scraps. I usually put them into a container as I'm cooking and then put this into the freezer, put it into like a freezer type Ziploc bag, put it into the freezer, and when I have a big enough bag to make a stock, I take them out and I actually make my own kitchen stock. So I call this a kitchen scrap stock. And it's all of the individual bits and pieces of whatever I have produced or whatever I've cut down in the kitchen. Rainbow salad, all of the different things, the butts of carrots, the ends of carrots, the ends of celery, like I said, even the skins of garlic. I put it all into a big pot of water, cook it down for like 12 hours, strain out the plant product, which you can then take to the compost. But then you have this beautifully colored, it's usually like this deep purple, almost black colored stock that you can use for soups, you can use for risotto, you can use for pretty much anything that you need stock or water for. Even that avocado sauce that I made today, I could even use a little bit of my kitchen scrap stock in there. All right. We're gonna let this just saute here on the stove for a few minutes. Let some of the moisture cook out of these mushrooms. Some of that flavor combine up. And I'm gonna put a little bit of my favorite vinegar. This is 4% acidity balsamic vinegar. There is absolutely nothing better on the market. If you like vinegar and you like balsamic vinegar, make sure that you get the 4% acidity. It is worth the investment. It costs a couple more dollars than your cheap vinegars, but watch the difference of consistency and texture. How thick it is. It's been boiled down and reduced down, and it's just a little bit sweet. And I just love to add it to almost everything, honestly. All right, so I'm gonna let that saute there or steam there for a few minutes uncovered. All right, guys, ready to plate our first recipe and breakfast, actually. So I have this beautiful bowl here. We're gonna go ahead and layer this in and make ourselves a kind of a Buddha bowl or a mushroom bowl, but something for yummy that is for breakfast that has the rainbow salad in it, plus everything else you need, and just tastes delicious too. So first things first. So this is the ways that we use the rainbow salad, right? Rainbow salad goes on every plate before we actually put the meal onto the plate. So I'm not eating the rainbow salad in a bowl by itself with dressing. I'm eating the rainbow salad in the meal. So first things first, take a handful of the salad and I put it into the bottom of the bowl. Like so. Then I take my rice, which is cooked up nice and plump. And I'm gonna add that into the bowl next. And you could use quinoa here. You could even use millet. You could use a sprouted rice. Any type of rice that you want, really any grain. You could even use potatoes, like a sauteed potato or roasted potatoes too. Let's put a little more rice. All right, and then my mushrooms. Look at those delicious mushrooms. Nice and got the good coloration from cooking as well as from that balsamic vinegar. Again, 4% reduced vinegar. I'm gonna take a couple spoonfuls of this here. Add this on top. You could throw all of those in there if you'd like. And then we're gonna take our green sauce. Now, if you make this a little bit more watery, it'll be a little bit easier to pour. And so you get a really nice drizzle. I probably should have did that, so this is a really beautiful presentation. But I'll be honest with you, presentation is not my big thing in life. Like, that's not my super strength. So, you know, you get what you get. But it tastes good, I promise you that. Because this would be way prettier if I had something nice to sprinkle. That's what I have to, I got to work on presentation. I'm always attempting to grow. I don't know how that, looks kind of crazy, honestly, but it tastes delicious, I promise you. There we go, guys. That is rainbow salad with rice, sauteed mushrooms, and an avocado sauce. This is perfect for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, honestly. And is, if you're using it for breakfast, is really a great way to start your day. The mushrooms I would swap out for beans, eggs, even lentils, and maybe even swap out different sauces as well. Very versatile bowl of food, and there is our first recipe. So I will see you back in the next class. We're going to take these same ingredients and make another recipe that keeps you living in alignment with plants every day and eating a rainbow salad at least once a day in your life. See you guys soon. Peace.